This is Mellissa Thomas for Florida National News. As you can see, I'm standing next to one of OUC's electrical vehicles. We are here at their Gardenia facility where former Mayor Mike Bloomberg will be doing a tour of this facility with Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer. They actually came to do this tour today in commemoration of Orlando winning the American Cities Climate Challenge, where they actually won funding to continue their work towards making Orlando a more sustainable city.
Mayor Bloomberg, it is an honor to host you here today and really to showcase some of the great innovation and partnerships that we have, and we want to thank you again for the investment that you're making in our community and the opportunity to work together to make a real difference. Just last month, the city of Orlando was selected as one of 25 cities in the American Cities Climate Change Challenge because of our efforts and our leadership in climate change. And through this challenge, Bloomberg continues to recognize and support cities that are making a difference in our country and moving the needle on climate change. We've made a lot of strides in the last decade, and we now are in fact ranked the #1 city in the southeast United States in terms of sustainability, and we all know that that's the right thing morally to do, but it's also the right thing for our community in attracting talent here. And we're not going to stop. We are going to exceed the goals outlined by the Paris Climate Agreement, even if our country may not do that. There's hundreds and hundreds of mayors across this country that have adopted those goals. We're going to cut our carbon emissions by 90% by 2040. We're going to boost our building energy efficiency and high-performance green building development. We're going to achieve zero waste going into our landfill by 2040, and we're transitioning to 100% renewables for energy with city operations by 2030 and 2050 citywide.
First, let me say a quick word about why we chose Orlando to make today's announcement on climate change. Back in December, a new documentary premiered both on the National Geographic Channel and in select cities, including Orlando, over at the Dr. Phillips Center, just 10 minutes from here. The film, as the mayor mentioned, is called Paris to Pittsburgh. Orlando, your mayor, and your sustainability director, Chris Castro, wave Chris, each played a starring role in that film. And if they do leave Orlando for Hollywood, don't blame me. Seriously, the film does show how Orlando is testing an interesting new idea, and that is putting floating solar panels on thousands of lakes and ponds. In fact, the film also shows these same floating solar panels that we have right behind us here. Well, I just took a tour and took a picture of them so I can show people what they look like back home. It's a great solution for the problem that you need land to put solar panels on, but land is a big value for agriculture and for commercial and residential uses. Here you have lots and lots of ponds here, and covering a small part of it with solar panels helps the pond, reduces the amount of oxygen that it takes, and you have a big problem here with algae growing, so it helps that, but it doesn't take away land that could be used for something else. So it's a right solution. I think Orlando is taking exactly the right kind of innovative climate action that we'd like to see spread from city to city, from state to state, and country to country.
What first brought you to Orlando, and what was it about the climate change initiatives here that first really inspired you to take a look at our initiatives?
Well, we didn't just say, let's go to Orlando. We went around the country and tried to find the cities that are really doing innovative things, and particularly things that are transferable to other cities. So that if it works, we'd love to see something that others can copy it. Orlando stood out. I wasn't part of the selection committee of any of these, but Orlando stood out because they had some practical things that they were actually implementing that you could measure the results, and they were easily copyable. So I don't know where in the list of the 25, but they certainly deserve to be here.
We just wrapped up the tour that Mayor Michael Bloomberg took with our Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer. These are one of the devices that the OUC officials showed to Mayor Bloomberg. This particular weather vane will be designated for assisting during those times of overcast weather. One of the things that they explained to him was that even though Florida is known as a sunshine state, there are a lot of days where we have intermittent cloudiness, and sometimes that hampers the photovoltaic process. So this is one of the devices they showed him. And of course, the main attraction here today, which they showed him as well, was the floating solar panels set up here on this retention pond. They noted the vast number of retention ponds here in the state of Florida, and they'll be able to make use of those, which for now they've been viewed as wasted. But with these photocells being on the retention ponds, they not only make use of those ponds, but they also assist in the reduction of algae in those ponds, reduces the oxygen strain that's in those waters, and also assist in the continual development of clean energy throughout the cities for those who cannot afford to put them on their rooftops or don't have the roof space to do that. But stay tuned right here at Florida National News for our continuing coverage of our FNN Business News. This is Mellissa Thomas coming to you from Orlando.